All right, welcome to Meade in the Middle. Today's episode, we're going to dive into psychedelics.
All right, I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I just had my brownie. It should kick in halfway through the episode. Let's get to it.
So in the 1960s, our government banned all psychedelics.
Boo.
Yeah, this was due to political pressure from big pharma and religious groups. Yet the conspiracy that came true is I knew for years and years there was talk of our government doing secret LSD experiments on unwitting civilians and prisoners, and that all came true, right? There was a project for 22 years funded by the CIA, and they funded it through schools, academia, nonprofits, front companies, and they used LSD and other psychedelics for the purpose of mind control, interrogation, and behavior modification for 22 years. Well, it was illegal. And what's crazy is they did this to folks that didn't know they were being experimented on. So they took prisoners, they took people out of psych wards, military, like your kid goes off to the army and then suddenly he's getting, doused with LSD. And it wasn't just them, hey, let me give you some drugs and see how you act. They were torturing them too. So they're trying to break their mind. And they would put them in dark rooms for months at a time and keep dousing with LSD, weird music, simulations of drowning, like trying to break the human mind.
For anyone who's experienced LSD, this sounds terrible.
It sounds horrible.
You could be sitting in this nice, comfortable chair and all of a sudden think you're drowning. So the fact that they were trying to induce those kind of panic things just sounds like a nightmare.
And they didn't just do it for like, oh, let's do a 6-month run on this. Well, that's crazy. What are we doing to our fellow humans? They did it for like 22 years. And they took prisoners out of Kentucky and New York, mostly African-American, psychiatric patients, military personnel, civilians, including students and homeless people. Students. Even CIA employees became unwilling, unbeknownst test subjects. There was a high-profile example, Dr. Frank Olson. He was a U.S. Army specialist. He died from being dosed with LSD, not to his knowledge, in 1953. No one went to jail. And in fact, in 1973, the CIA director, Richard Helms, ordered MK Ultra records be destroyed, and only a fraction survived. That's fucking crazy.
Our country has the most bizarre relationship with drugs.
It's so weird.
Like, I don't understand. It's like every drug you can think of, America has like outlawed for various like pharmaceutical or religious reasons, and then like done all kinds of covert stuff with, which is, I just don't understand the obsession with drugs. I mean, we could go on and on about pharmaceutical drugs and advertisements and everything else, but like illicit drugs, like there's just like such a strong draw to them from the federal government.
It's one of those things. We're such prudes about drugs. I don't understand it. I really don't get why they're like that. I mean, it kind of blows my mind too that we're so anti-drug in some ways. And then we push, and we're awash with pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, but then the federal government's like, yeah, nobody can have this, but we're gonna fuck a few people up really hard.
Yeah. Seriously,
it's weird. It's like I don't get it.
And we're the most drug society in the world, Americans, with pharmaceuticals.
Oh yeah.
Yet we've got the most drug enforcement money.
And super unhealthy as well. I'd add we're awash in pharmaceuticals, but extremely unhealthy as a country.
Oh, it's bad. It's a bad combo. I mean, but while all this was happening, across the globe, indigenous cultures were quietly using plant medicine. Ayahuasca specifically is what I want to discuss, legally, spiritually, and with centuries of wisdom that they acquired from this. And so I was against psychedelics. I just was scared to do it, and I never did it. In fact, I only smoked cannabis twice my whole life. I just don't like it, even though I own a large cannabis company. I drank, but about, I think it was 10 years ago, I was going through like a lot personally, and my partner, Los, who I own the cannabis company with, I just had a lot of childhood trauma and all the bullshit that everybody fucking deals with. But I just pushed a lot down and put on this face that everything was great, but inside I was very angry, unhappy, disorganized, yeah, I made money, but like it was all about making money and not, I didn't really find purpose in life or like, why am I here? I was like, it's not just to make money. And I found myself drinking more and just like headed towards a path where it could have probably led to divorce with my wife, who was my child. You know, we met in high school. And so I called Los one day and said, dude, I know you've been talking for 4 years to try to get me to this ayahuasca. Like I did research on it and like apparently the Catholic Church is against it and it's illegal and people died from this. And apparently there's like demons and stuff and dark energy and like, uh, I didn't want to do it, but at this point I don't have a choice. I need a reset. And so I ended up doing it 8 times and it completely fucking changed my life. So I want to talk a little bit about ayahuasca to you guys. I know you're familiar with it, but I'll give our viewers a little background on it.
Did you know that ayahuasca, I'm sure you're going to tell everybody this, it's actually 2
Yeah.
plants?
Yeah, I'm gonna get into
All
what
right.
it is. So basically the story of like how it's from indigenous folks in South America, Peru, Brazil, Colombia.
They call it what, vaccine of the forest or something like that?
They call it the mother plant. There's different names for it, but
The vine of the spirit.
the vine of the spirit. But basically they said angel or an alien or something came down to these tribes folks and said, you need to mix out of the millions and millions of plants, this shrub and this vine together in a brew, and it'll bring you closer to God. And the Akasha record, which is like God's book, right? Eternal knowledge, which is all around us, and the code, right? And they put it together, and what it does is, and there's still debate about this, but a lot of people, and I'm one of them, believe that your pineal gland, which is just discovered, 25 years ago or whatever in science, right? There's a pineal gland in the middle of your brain. It's the most protected element. It's about the size of a rice grain. And it emits a little bit of DMT naturally. And it does it when you're REM sleep. So you feel like you're out of your body and you're clearing all your energy. You have a good night's sleep and you reset and recharge. And you're downloading all of your information, I believe, to the Akasha record, which is God's book during that time period. It's like a download. And you wake up, you feel refreshed. You also, that pineal gland releases a massive amount of DMT into your system, into your brain, when you die and when you're born. So the theory is when your soul comes into your body and when your soul leaves your body, that's when it releases it. There's DMT in a lot of food we eat. It's all over the place. Fruits, and different vegetables. It's all over the place. But you have these enzymes in your stomach that kill the DMT. So you never experience it unless your pineal gland allows you to experience it during REM sleep, or you fucking die, or you're born. So the vine, which they call the ayahuasca vine, turns off these enzymes in your stomach to allow you to digest it and take a full shot of DMT, which that brush has a fuckload of DMT in it. So by mixing these 2 fucking plants in the middle of the fucking forest, you get to experience what you experience really when you die. And the DMT just takes you just out of your mind and body, right? It was the hardest experience I've ever done. And I've done, I'd have to lose 20 pounds in 2 days in wrestling and like fucking not eat for a week and a half and dealt with a lot of stuff in my life. But this was very, very hard. So the experience that I had was I did it with a very experienced shaman. She interviewed me for an hour about why do I want to do this and what's my purpose. Took all my medical records because you can't be on certain medications or have heart issues because it could lead to death. And she clears you. And I guess she doesn't clear like 1 out of every 6 people, right? Doesn't get cleared. And she said, okay, you're going to have to like eat clean for the next week before you do the ceremony. You go to this camp, and I won't tell you where it is, but it's somewhere. And you go to this camp for the weekend. It's like an adult camp. But there were like CEOs there and like celebrities. And it's like this camp in the middle of like a city. It's like adult camp where you sleep in like little yurts and you're there for the weekend and you a session on Friday and then a session on Saturday night. So you do twice over the weekend.
And just to clarify, these yurts, they're outside? Because
Yeah.
you said it's a camp in the city, so it's like
It's a big property,
I see.
and they have like a big yurt where you do the ceremony, and then they got like small ones that you can rent that you can sleep in, or you can sleep in the big yurt with a bunch of people.
Okay.
It's not very expensive. And she said, well, you have to think of an intention. Like, what's your intention? And it could be, I want to stop smoking, or I want to stop drinking, or I want to deal with my childhood trauma, or like, why did my dad do that? Whatever your intention is. And you think about it over and over and over again for the 2 weeks leading up to it. And then before you do the medicine, you really just concentrate on it. And you take the little tea, like a little like shot glass, and it just within like a minute or two, it just takes over. And it's autopilot of intense purging. So you're vomiting, sweating, you have chills, you're seeing shit all over the place. Like it's fucking weird.
So hallucinating.
You're hallucinating hard. And what's even more amazing, because I believe sound is like a very important element of like our existence, and we've ignored that. There's a total another session, but they have all these songs that these shamans have learned to invoke the cleansing. So the vomiting, think of your body as a glass, right? And negative energy is real. And how does that guy get so evil that he fucking rapes kids and murders his wife? His glass is full of like negative trauma and whatever the hell's in there. And he never emptied it. So this vomiting and purging, it felt like demons, like energy was coming out of me. And it's about 4 hours, right, of this. And at
What?
the end,
Wait, you're vomiting for 4 hours?
well, you take breaks. You take breaks in between. Like you take a nap and you sleep.
Like you don't choose the break. Like the break chooses you.
You just get tired and you take a nap. And they'll do when they do their like their music, right? They've got little like humming and different sound waves and stuff that they create with different instruments. And they sing. You can feel the vibration go through you. And I remember laying there and feeling it because I would like be taking a break. So I was tired. I took a nap and it would come in your body and shake you up, and you would get up and you purge again. It was like waking up all like the negative energy out of you. And then at the same time, you're seeing all these images that have to do with whatever your intention was, but it doesn't make any sense. So you'll see images and this and that, and like, you're like, what is that? And like, maybe it's about your parents or something you see when you were a kid, and then you see them when they were a kid. And it's like this weird collage that you don't understand, but you're just like in the moment you're going through it. And at the end, like it just like, it ends like you think you're like it's never going to end. And then it just ends and you're totally fine. It's weird. Just like turns off.
Huh.
And then you look down at your bucket that should be overflowing, and there's like this much in it. Yet I felt it come out. It was all energy, and they're running around cleaning the energy out of the room. And it got rid of all my childhood trauma, all of it. It helped me get over alcohol and stuff because I was a crutch. But it was the most spiritual thing I've ever done. Like it brought me so much closer to God than I've ever been. And now I'm like way more religious. It also, think of a computer when you upgrade a computer and you get a chip from 1980 and then you put one in there from 2025. That's what it is. It's a fucking upgrade to where, I mean, I had my one job and I was good at it, but I couldn't handle anymore. I could barely handle my clients and my family. Dude, I own like 8 companies now. Like, and I take Fridays off and I take long ass vacations and I spend a lot of time with my family, and I just don't care about money. And the biggest revelation that I had was, this is all just a test. All of it is a test. And the only thing that really matters is the energy that you give out. And you can accept the energy you take in. So by just changing my perception on something, change the trauma. And I can manifest whatever I want. And it sounds crazy, but when I was done with this, I was literally sitting there crying. Like, dude, the hippies were right. And I'm like super conservative, fucking Republican. I was like, they were fucking right, right? And I'm like, dude, I was like, I could see energy. Like because I have to go to the restroom and you like leave the earth. I'll be in the dark and I'm pissing on the forest. And I look over in the tree and like the tree is like lit up and you see like all like this energy coming through the tree. I'm like, dude, I'm tripping hard. but I just wanted to touch the tree, and I touched the tree, and I'm like thanking the fucking tree, the earth. And it's like, it was the weirdest thing ever. Like, that's kind of a weird moment.
So just to be clear, you're like aware the whole time?
You're aware.
So you're like,
I think you're aware for the first time in your life. I mean, I don't have any experience with ayahuasca, but all the hallucinogens I've done in my life, I think it is the most aware you've been. You just become conscious of everything around you and how, like, you feel this deep connection with everything that you don't normally even pay attention to, like the trees and the earth. If you're not one of those people that seems really grounded in those things, I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about the actual like roots and stuff. So Banisteriopsis caapi is the first, the vine
That's
that you're talking about.
Yeah.
So that is, it has harmala alkaloids in it, and it's a monoamine oxidase inhibitor, which was an old class of antidepressants. And the reason why DMT is like, the DMT comes from the other Psychotria
Yeah.
viridis, the shrub.
Yeah.
So that has the DMT in it. But if you take that alone, you're never going to get any of the effects of it.
Yeah.
But the MAOI inhibitors are what causes it to be that. They used to call DMT the businessman's trip, because when they injected it or like did inhalation of that, it would last like 15 minutes. But because of the MAOI inhibitors, you take this and it can last 3.5, 4 hours long.
It's crazy.
So it's just that combination that gives this.
oh, and it must be, because I've talked to people who have like smoked DMT
Mhm.
and they talk about it they're like not aware. They're like, it shoots me into outer space and I just like come to 15 minutes later.
That's 15 minutes. And that's much more powerful because it's going just right in your brain, a blood barrier. It's breaking through it, and people experience death. So normally when you take that, like for example, when I did it, I was driving my car and a big boulder fell on me and I was dead. And then you go out, you see yourself going out, and you become like one with energy. You lose all.
So this happened to you when you drank it?
When you smoke it.
Okay, this happened when you smoked.
Yeah. So I tried that once. It scared shit out of me. But like, you experience death where you have no like sense of self. You're just like energy, and it was beautiful. But I didn't. Something inside of me said, "You're not supposed to experience that. That's not really helping you." And I did ayahuasca 8 times, and it was probably one too many times. I ran out of things to make intentions for, and then my last one, I asked, like, why are we here? And like the shaman's like, are you sure you want to do that? Like, it's a deep question. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, why are we here? And I just saw like some crazy shit that I won't even get into, but it's like everything before that was awesome. Like, I was like, deal with childhood trauma, and I would see, why did my dad do this and this to my brothers and me? And I saw him being abused as a kid and crying. So
It's intense, dude. Super intense.
I have to cut that. But yeah, it was intense.
Yeah. No, I think it's amazing. Thank you for sharing that, because these things are obviously for all of us. We all have those things that are, soft to the touch, that we're sensitive about. And the fact that there is something like this that people can experience in such a like direct,
Yeah.
clear way, because like, what you're talking about and like the things that you work through doing this like once, like people will go to therapy for like a decade,
Yeah.
and they'll take medicine for like a decade to try and work through it.
Yeah, nothing.
And like the fact that you can do this like once and like work through some of that stuff so quickly is
But
incredible.
think about this shows you the reason why they immediately put this as a Schedule 1 drug, because this sounds like it would be way more effective than all of these medications that we have a whole industry built on. We use so many antidepressants. I mean, every other prescription that I dispense on a daily basis is an antidepressant or an anti-anxiety medication. And there's all this evidence and studies now that things like plant-based medicine, whether it be that or microdosing of psilocybin, or just even the use of the recreational use of cannabis, sometimes can decrease anxiety. And you see this in our culture all the time. There's so many people out there who are totally against the use of cannabis, of THC. And it's the same people that I see come in like clockwork every 30 days to fill 90 alprazolam or lorazepam or any of these. So benzodiazepines there'd probably be a lot less use of that if we started to be a little less averse to having to exploring the idea of plant-based medicine.
It should totally be legal, and it's not just those that are on antidepressants, which I think would help them immediately. It was the best gift I've ever received, ever. And like all my kids are going to do this when they graduate college. I'm going to make them do it because it's something I think every human should be doing. Brings you closer to God. It clears any traumas that you have, even if they're minor. And it opens up your mind, and it knocks off all that calcium off your pineal gland, that all the sugar and the fluoride and all that, it shuts, everybody's pineal gland's shut down. And if that's how we become closer to God and increase our vibration, they're keeping us at this plane, right? We're not elevating, regardless of where your religion is. You're supposed to elevate to the next level, right? And I feel like I skipped 50 lifetimes with this one gift that someone gave me. And why would I not share that? And why would I not tell people about it? And I've gotten not all my friends, but a lot of my friends, family members, all my brothers have gone and done it. Not all of them, but most of them. Coworkers, partners in businesses, and everybody seemed to have a good experience. My wife was the only one that like didn't take anything from it. But I think if you're not open to it, you really got to like open your heart to it and like just take my body and go.
Yeah.
But if you sit there and you fight, like you could fight it. Like I remember the first like minute I was like fighting it. And I was like, okay, let me just open up. She told me to open up. I read, it's like, and you like, and it's just, and it takes over. And it's on autopilot.
If
Whatever
you're
your
someone
intention.
who wants to be in control of everything in your life, you probably have a hard time
Yeah,
just
let it go.
letting
You gotta
go.
let go.
I think that's why they don't sit with me very well. Like anytime I've done, I smoked marijuana lots of times when I was younger. This is one of these things that's, it's not difficult for me to talk about now because it's been so long.
Yeah.
But I was raised by a hippie mom who I love dearly, and she's super religious now. But all of my first experiences as young as 5 and 6 years old were with my mother and my mom's twin sister and family members smoking pot. So I grew up around it, which did actually save me a lot of times from having those issues in high school. But the first 2 times that I experienced other hallucinogens aside from that mescaline and then LSD,
Yeah.
I took a tab of LSD on my junior trip to Washington, D.C., which was a really bad idea.
Awful timing.
An awful time. And
Sweating in the
I
back of the
also
bus.
like played it out to the guys. They were swimmers, and they were the hippie crowd who did a lot of pot and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I smoked pot a lot. And I even told them that I did LSD before, which I didn't, because they're like, maybe you should take half. I'm like, no, give me a whole fucking tab. I'm ready to go. And it was one of those things where it's like simultaneously the worst and best experience of your life,
Yeah.
because I think it changed the trajectory of a lot of things. And I think that's what it does. I almost view people that have done something like that and other people as like eyes open, eyes closed.
Yeah.
Like you just experience that and you realize the world is so much bigger than you imagine, and we're so connected in a way that we can't imagine unless we experience something like
Yeah.
that. And I'm scared to death to do ayahuasca because I'm a very nervous person to begin with. So I think I'd be one of those rare cases of a hypertensive crisis where I'd have a fucking heart attack.
No, I talked to a shaman about it, and he advised me not to do it.
Yeah.
Because I'm too anxious
Yeah.
I just I can't relax about that kind of stuff, and I'll probably like start having panic attacks and I was advised not to do it.
And that's okay. Like it's I'm not saying it's for everyone, but for me personally, and I if my kids aren't disposed like you are, panic attacks, they seem fine now, but obviously I'll check with them everywhere. I'm like, come on, let's do this. But I think understanding what the experience is and the environment, like you have to be in the right environment with a very experienced person who cares about your health. And
Yeah.
you hear about the deaths. It's like I think there were 5 deaths or something in the last 20 years. So it's like, yeah, there are deaths, but none of them were tied directly to ayahuasca. It was tied to their antidepressants, or they had a heart condition, or in the fucking middle of the Amazon with, an unexperienced shaman who's just trying to make money. So it's like, you got to be in the right environment. And that's part of legalization. Like if this was legal, the experience will be regulated and the quality of the medicine will be regulated. And you have to have a health checkup, and you're doctor would have to sign off on it or something, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of science behind it. As we were talking about before this started, that tyramine-containing foods, foods that are high in tyramine, will cause a lot of the other hypertensive crisis, and also increased not just vomiting, but shitting yourself
Yeah.
as well. So
Fun.
those kind of things. Yeah, so you'd have to watch that. And
You could shit yourself too. Trust me, I was running out of the earth. But what was weird is like the second time I did it, I don't know if it was a shaman or someone else. I was like, man, I had to go to the bathroom like 30 times, and it was kind of like messing with my experience. And
you
like,
shit your pants, didn't you?
no, I didn't. Like, cause I'm good. I didn't do it.
I'm good.
But they were like, just tell your body you don't need to go. And literally, when you're on ayahuasca, it'll shut it down. I'm like,
That's
no
crazy.
way. And I did it the second time and every other time. And when I had it like it was coming out, I was like, you don't have to go to the restroom. And I just tell myself that, and it would go away. Boop. And it might come back an hour later or something. And I'm like, oh, there it is again.
To do that almost every other day on my fucking
No,
commute
you
to work.
can't do it when you're not on ayahuasca. It was only when I
I
was
just had
like,
one Dunkin', and now I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna shit my pants, like running into the clenched ass cheeks, running into the pharmacy.
Oh god.
but some of the other things that folks tell me is like, it's the Catholic Church and a lot of religions preach against it.
But why would they? I
It-
mean,
it's the
so
work
many
of the
people
devil.
report
Yeah.
a religious type experience, one that brings them closer to God. Why wouldn't any religion, whether it be the Catholic Church or not, want you to have that? Want you to be a seeker?
I
I
mean,
think that's the reason why we enter churches in the first place, is we're seeking something bigger than ourselves.
no, I think it's ridiculous, but the Catholic Church does have like a very long history with shutting down anything indigenous.
Yeah. No, and I wanted to talk about that. And I'm a Catholic. I'm part of our local Catholic community. I donate money there. My kids go to Catholic school, and
Mine too.
I don't want them to kick us out. But like, yeah, the Catholic Church has a pretty checkered past. But I believe the good that they have done far outweighs any bad that they've done. But part of what Catholic Church and Roman Catholics and all these other folks did was that they moved into areas like Americas, and they destroyed cultures, and they destroyed records. And like St. Patrick is hero that we all celebrate on. I'm half Irish. Like, oh, St. Patrick, he saved Ireland, killed the snake. Like, they went to Ireland and destroyed all of our history, all of our medicines that we have, plant-based medicines, and our religion, and hundreds and thousands of years of like knowledge was like destroyed. So like, why are we celebrating this guy, right? So that's a whole other conversation. But I think that was in the back of my mind, is like, dude, am I gonna walk in here like the devil like takes me and I go to hell? Like, what? It was scary. But my experience was, if it is the devil and it is dark energy, why the fuck did it bring me so close to God
Oh.
and the church and make me a better human being? So that's bullshit. And fucking sugar kills like 2 million people a year. Salt kills like 1.8 million a year. Fucking deers kill like 500 people a year. Like, this kills 5. Like, so yeah, there is a risk, but I think if you did it with an experienced person and you understand the risk and you did the research, and then you really understand what your experience is going to be like, because it is fucking hard. But anything in life worth having is hard. And this was the hardest thing I've ever done. And it was the biggest gift when I was going through it. In fact, I was eager to go back and do it. And then I hit a point where I was like, oh, fuck. That last one was like a little too much, and I don't really have any more cleansing to do. And I'll never do it again. Maybe I will, but I don't think I'll ever have to do it again.
Well, you might hit
But I might.
You might hit a bump on the road that you need to work through.
I do combo every month.
Yeah.
Just something else. But
Oh, wait, combo's the vaccine to the forest, right?
yeah, I think
Yeah,
combo
okay.
is.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the toad venom.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys want to talk about that, but that's something I do every month.